Hello, I'd like to share another junk journal that I just finished. This is a soft cover journal. It's got fabric over a file folder material, and it's stitched all the way around along the edges, and the fabric continues front and back. And I wanted the roses and the leaves were so pretty. I just wanted those to be the focal point. I didn't want to cover that with a lot of embellishment. So what I did was out of this lace trim over the spine area and added these vintage buttons and a little bit of fiber and just a touch of glitter to give it a little bit of sparkle. And just this past week at Joanne Fabrics, I discovered this absolutely beautiful fabric, and it looks like it's tulle, but I believe it's made from a nylon so that it's very delicate, but it's sturdy enough that they've added these beautiful pearls. And I used a piece of that attached to a bulb pin at the top so it can be removed if you don't like it on here. But I've also added some upcycled earrings and some of my own beads in the original kind of copper colored chain there, and I thought that made a pretty charm. But they're attached by the bulb pin so they can be removed. This is a single signature, and it's tied with sari silk attached by eyelets. You can see the back, the same fabric, and the eyelet that covers the spine. We'll take a look inside. There we have the same fabric cover. This is a paper that I designed by doing some collage work. Check out Vintage Glue Books. They like to do a lot of collage over there, and I'm learning a lot from those ladies. So that's one of my paper designs. And on the inside here, I've made a pocket and machine stitched it on. A couple tags, stamping. Another tag with some coffee stained paper on the back. The next page, stamping along the inside edge, one of my own photos. Another pocket, stamping with the butterflies. Stamping continues up the page. A stamped journaling card. Space for journaling on the back. An upcycled greeting card layered with some fabric, fiber, and an eyelet. And thanks to Nazi at Amity Bloom teaching us to use fabric for flip-ups to hide your journaling underneath. But this is a piece of dresser scarf with some beautiful embroidery on it. You can see the detail work at the top. Another one of my images with some stamping. Dyed with coffee. Some trim stitched on here. Another pocket with stamping and some lace trim, butterflies stamped up the edge. A pretty card made with layered paper and some stamping, space to journal on the back. And I'll credit Gayle Agostinelli with the Franken paper idea. She's teaching us to use our scraps and little pieces of pretty paper, lay them over top of each other, machine stitch them, and I just love doing that. I thought it made a pretty tag, and it's backed by coffee dyed paper. This bird, one of my images, this bird tried to get in my door a couple days last summer, so that's kind of my signature element in my journals. A piece of vellum, some roses, some upcycled greeting card, some beautiful trim. I don't know if that's tatting or crochet, but it's gorgeous. And I took some scrap paper with some pretty blue flowers on it and stitched those together to make a little booklet that tucks in there. Plenty of journaling space in this journal. You can add your own writing or paper ephemera, mementos, photographs, whatever. This is saved from a dresser scarf. I loved the blue trim on this, used blue thread to stitch it on the paper. This pocket holds another pocket, layers here of book page and vellum, and inside coffee stained paper, recycled card with some vellum. A pocket here machine stitched, these pretty pastel index cards. And I stamped, when I get a hold of them here, a flower and a bee and a butterfly. And they tuck right in here. And this tips out. Another little pocket over here with some layered punch flower and a piece of the fabric from the front, some stamping, a printed butterfly envelope. You can add your paper ephemera there, a page from a book, a pretty botanical with a poem on the front and the back. I can't remember who I bought this kit from, but beautiful paper, and I've stamped some doily designs along the edges, coffee stained paper with some stenciling, and stitched some lace and crochet trim. Same over here, you can tuck something in here. Paper bag, added some stickers, and inside a pretty card, coffee dyed paper on the back, another sticker, celebrate. And I'd like to thank Wendy and Leo from Wendy's Journal Adventures. Wendy's been teaching us to use muslin to make hinges and stitch those on the machine. This is the first time I used that on a journal page, and I really like it. I like how it looks, and I like the paper on that. Coffee dyed paper, and added an altered paper clip with a pretty beaded charm. And the nice thing about those, anything that's clipped on the edges you can reposition anywhere you like in the book. And when you take the envelope off, another hinged element here. So thank you, Wendy, for that. And this envelope has been stamped and layered with some collage work and punched images front and back. And this is the inside paper that goes down in that envelope. So there's plenty of space for journaling. Stamping on this page, and then this pretty green paper stitched on to make a pocket with some delicate yellow trim. Opens up. I lined it with some lined paper. You can journal there, and added a journaling card with some stamping. So there's a pocket there that's hidden, and here's another pocket. And this tag is made from several layers of paper collaged, and then fussy cut the butterfly and added that. Over here, another pocket with some pretty colors. And back to thanking Wendy and Leo for them teaching us to make tags with pockets. This background is stamped, and then a pocket added and stitched. You can write on the back, and a tag inside the pocket. Lots of space to journal. Washi tape here. Tuck spot, layered paper. I love these mason jars. You can write on the backs of those. Layering here of washi tape and paper and stamping. And I made this envelope, again, my pretty blues, lined the inside, and one of my favorite tags. I really like this one. I like the image, I like the colors. I've got craft paper on the back, cut with a zigzag, and layered it up and added a little bit of that pretty delicate trim, and it perfect fit right there. And this DigiKit, I can't remember who I purchased this from, but I used the paper to fold over the page and carry that design over because I love the colors. And the butterflies I stamped to repeat what's on here. Added a coffee stained paper tag on the back. Some vintage trim, more butterflies on the page. You can write in between or all over those. This is some recycled greeting card you can use for a bookmark or write on that. And more journaling space. One of my photos, added the blue stitching to match the blue in the flowers. Same thing over here. The embroidered pocket that you saw earlier, this is another detail piece from that dresser scarf, and I stitched it in blue to accent the blue here. This has stamping along the edges, some stenciling along the edges, another pretty bead on a paper clip, and it's holding this envelope that is again collaged with stamping and decoupage, a little bit of stenciling, and inside a vintage postcard dated September 1908. This pocket, a little brighter than a lot of what's in this journal, but that's what makes it pop and stand out a little bit. The colors in the poppy match the colors in this cardstock, and this cardstock actually has some embossing on the surface of it, and I just think it's gorgeous. I lined the back with coffee stained paper, and I've got crochet trim down the edge. The second half of the paper bag. My second favorite tag, because it's blue and because it's flowers, machine stitched coffee stained paper. Tucks right in there. This tuck spot actually folds over the page, and I used cardstock, book page, a punched element, and a stamp. Stamped down the inside and outside edges, and to match the colors here, I came across this little book on famous artists and their paintings, and I loved the colors in it. There's a poem on the back, and that tucks very nicely in there. And the second half of that has some stenciling on here, some layering, and this journaling card is one of my photos. Some more layering. This page from a book on butterflies and moths stitched in to make a pocket, and journaling space. This pocket is made from a book page, a book on needlework, stitched on some lace, had enough of the page left to add to a tag. Blue stitching up the sides, of course. And this is stitched and layered. Space for journaling. And I love that little blue moth stamped on there, and he has a friend all the way back here. Some more journaling space and a tuck spot. This is one of my photos. This is from a journal that I picked up at the secondhand store. I liked the quote in it, "It's the little things that make up the richest part of the tapestry of our lives." And this all folds out. There's a lot of journaling space here, but it tucks right up in there. The second half of the vellum. And over here, some more journaling space. One of my photos. Another tuck spot. Love the colors here. Pretty journaling card, has a little bit of a metallic embossing on it. Love the colors here. Coffee stained paper, stamped along the edges. Some more of my flower photos, and I loved the greens in the background, so I added some green paper elements along the edge. More butterflies, more stamping, space for writing, and over here another altered paper clip with a beaded charm at it, and this folds out. And this pocket, some embossed paper that has some lavenders and purples in it, machine stitched this beautiful piece of vintage trim on it, and this pocket holds some beautiful tags. Birds and blue, gotta be in my favorite list, of course. Some more of that journal paper. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. Helen Keller. And this page on friendship and butterflies. And the back half of my collage design with a little bit of this gorgeous lavender and ivory trim. The back, you can add whatever you like there, or just enjoy that pretty fabric. But there you have it. I loved working on it. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. I appreciate your time and attention. Thanks for watching, and if you get a chance, check me out on Etsy, LuellenArts.